following presentation of the National Football League.
Well, the Eagles are in, having won 4 of 5, 8 of 11. And the man who has managed them from the sidelines, Coach of the Year candidate Andy Reid, in midnight green helmets. He presides over them. And on the other side, it's Chris Palmer, points out his team was pretty much healthy the first 3 weeks of the season. They began 2-1, James, but it rings pretty hollow now that the team is 3-11 and getting drilled these last few weeks.
I heard an ugly word in Cleveland this week. I heard the word compete. That kind of means that you're not able to win ball games. I think the Brown fans do want them to play a lot better than they have the last 2 weeks.
And it's Jamel White back to receive the kick from David Akers. Underway in Cleveland. Here comes Jamel White. Miles his way to the 27-yard line. Cleveland begins today with a record of 3-11 and fresh off a butt whooping down in Jacksonville. But here they come today with Doug Peterson at the helm. And Doug Peterson trading places, if you will, coming from Philadelphia to Cleveland. Roman Oben, Steve Zahersky, Sean O'Hara, the rookie center. Everett Lindsay will back him up if necessary. Prentice and Edwards in the backfield. Kevin Johnson, David Patton, along with the tight end, the rookie Aaron Shea. On first down, it is Prentice barreling forward. And the Browns desperately trying to get a running game going. Trying to get a lot of things going against a pretty tough defense today. The Eagles ranked 8th in the NFL overall defensively. What a great front four that is. Hugh Douglas, Hollis Thomas, the rookie Corey Simon, Brandon Whiting in for Mike Mamula to start today. Gardner, Trotter, and Emmons are the linebackers. And this is a terrific secondary. Big corners there, Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent.
Kevin Johnson in at quarterback.
Look at that already. We thought we would see this. And we just didn't know we would see it so early. Kevin Johnson, who never did get a chance.
Wait a minute. That's Dennis Northcutt. They've got 3 quarterbacks in the ball game if you're going to count Kevin Johnson, who we've heard is going to take some snaps.
Chris Palmer said we will see a couple snaps going to 85. We knew we would somehow see Northcutt involved. But look at this. On the very first series, you've got Dennis Northcutt in there running the show.
Yeah, and it's just a little quarterback draw. Well, I don't know if I might call that a quarterback draw. Maybe a wide receiver draw.
Do not adjust your set on 3rd and 5. It's Dennis Northcutt at quarterback, sprinting and turning for the Cleveland first down. All week in practice, it was Johnson, the wide receiver, taking most of the snaps as the backup quarterback. Northcutt took a few, but here he is, Dennis Northcutt, the rookie from Arizona.
Check Dennis Northcutt out. All he's going to do is run around the left end. It's just a quick sweep. He just takes off. Last year when he was at Arizona, I remember calling him the poor man's Peter Warrick. He wanted to get his hands on the ball a little more in this offense, and so far they've been able to do that first set of downs.
Now you've got Doug Peterson on first down. We just saw the 7th-string quarterback taking a couple of snaps for Cleveland, and there's Northcutt again. We called Donovan McNabb Mr. Everything in the Fox Watch. Turns out it might be the rookie from Arizona.
Yeah, but I like what the offensive coordinator, Pete Carmichael, and their head coach, Chris Palmer, have done. What they've done is they've injected some excitement into this ball club. It's not going to be static. Now Peterson has gone off the field, so the guys on the Eagles sideline, they're going, okay, who's going to handle the ball? What are they going to try and do next?
Northcutt now is a wide receiver. Kevin Johnson becomes the 3rd quarterback of this series. And he's got a little bit of time here. He's going to air it out. Looking for David Patton. He is picked off almost by his good friend Troy Vincent. And they'll be talking about that for a good long time. Troy Vincent, very, very tight with that man, Kevin Johnson. Listen to this crowd. They love the creativity.
Well, they're getting a standing ovation. And this is what they have sorely lacked in the last 2 ball games. They've been outscored, what, 92-7? 92-0 in a run. But Kevin Johnson throwing the deep ball. If he just keeps it a little more to the outside, you don't want that ball to drift back inside. But it's windy, and that's what Kevin Johnson will tell the receivers when they watch film on Monday.
That's what he and Troy Vincent will be discussing, too. No question about it. A couple of Trenton, New Jersey natives. Now a quick hit. Northcutt has got it, and he spins trying to get to the first down marker. He's going to come up just short as Ike Reese came in to make the hit. Sounds like the fans are saying, hey, look, you've already put 2 wide receivers out there as quarterback. Why not keep this theme going and go for it?
Well, they're saying go, and this is really the weakness of the Cleveland Browns, their ability to run the ball on 4th and short.
What an energized crowd here now, as they have seen a couple of wide receivers take snaps on this first set, going from right to left. It is 4th down, and we'll call it 1.
They're only 23% on 4th down for the whole season.
And a handoff and a first down carry. Travis Prentice got it done. Now remember, last week Jacksonville's point total and Cleveland's total yards from scrimmage were a virtual draw. They're moving the ball here.
Yeah, and when you run the ball, you double team. James Brown steps down. He doesn't have anybody to block on because Everett Lindsey, the right guard, does such a nice job in clearing it out. You get a good lead block by Mark Edwards, the fullback.
First down at the Philadelphia 42. And it is Peterson now under center. Handing to Prentice, he's got some room. Wrapped up as he gets to the first down, sticks by Damon Moore. Boy, this Cleveland team, who has been on the road for essentially a month, coming out energized.
And if you're an Eagle defensive man, then what you want to do, you want to pressure. Sometimes you run yourself in the wrong direction when the ball is going this way. They run themselves right out of the hole. See the guy, and it's a huge hole for Travis Prentice. That's what he was used to seeing when he was in college at Miami of Ohio.
Touchdown, Travis Prentice in. First down and 10. Got to get to the 21. And look, another quarterback. This is going to be Northcutt. As he zips his way across the 30, gets to the 28. So again, you know, we talk about the quarterback situation. They have Tony Graziani ready to go. He came in a couple of days ago and was taking snaps. He is a quarterback by trade. This guy is not.
Well, Dennis Northcutt, he played his college football at the same school as Keyshawn Johnson. A couple other guys have been drafted in the NFL, so he's been around a lot of talent. I don't know if he's ever been thrown in a situation like this. Northcutt, when he was a freshman in Arizona, had 2 interceptions as a defensive player before he moved to offense, so he's supremely talented.
Now it's Peterson back under center. We're going to have to keep you updated on that. And off goes to Prentice. And it will bring up 3rd down.
At some point, we've seen a lot of bells and whistles from the Cleveland Browns. But it's going to boil down to what the big guys up front can do, whether their offensive line can handle the charge that the Eagles send at them. Now, the Eagles love to rotate in defensive linemen and keep guys fresh. You're going to have the same 5 guys out there. And Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, this guy right here, he has his hands full. A lot to look at in this first series from Cleveland.
You better believe it. 3rd down and 6. It is Peterson back in the shotgun. Ball comes loose, and it's batted around and finally covered by the Browns. Corey Simon had the penetration and was able to get a little bit of a hand on it, and that was a live football.
You know, the offensive linemen, they're not the guilty party on this play. This is supposed to be a screen to the outside, so he's going to throw the ball up here to a wide receiver. He drops back in the pocket. If the screen's not there, see the receiver, see the lineman releasing, you've got to get rid of that ball, just throw it out of bounds. Don't risk taking a sack because you're in field goal range.
Well, they're sending Gardocki on to punt, but the way the Browns have come out here, I don't know if we can know for any sense of certainty that a punt is definitely coming. Brian Mitchell is back. This one headed to a dead stop inside the 5. It was an electric first series, even though they ended up punting it away. We saw 3 quarterbacks, and now the Eagles will rev it up from their own 3-yard line. The most aggressive and liberal starts you're ever going to want to see. 3 quarterbacks were used on the first drive by the Cleveland Browns, including 2 wide receivers, but at the end, some conservatism, a punt instead of a long field goal try. The Eagles backed up to their 2.
Yeah, but it's a team game. You got them pinned back. Now it's time for the defense to step up.
Donovan McNabb to work, looking at 98 yards downfield. Screens it out, and he has Thomason, the tight end, and he's able to twist to the 9. Andy Reid said coming into this year, be patient with his young starting quarterback. McNabb would give you peaks and valleys. We haven't seen a valley in a good long time. He is protected by Trey Thomas, John Welborn, Bubba Miller, Jermaine Mayberry, and Big John Runyon out there at right tackle. Darnell Autry gets the ball at running back. Cecil Martin blocks for him. And Trey Thomas will be battling today. Handoff coming. And dragged down in the backfield. Stanley Pritchett never could get to the outside. Courtney Brown had the pursuit. Courtney Brown is having a tremendous first NFL season. #1 pick out of Penn State. Right up front along with McKenzie, Collinet, and Orpheus Roy. There are your linebackers, Marty Moore, Wally Rayner, and Jameer Miller. In the secondary, Cleveland shows you McCutcheon, Ellsworth, Smith, and a dinged-up Corey Fuller. 3rd down 2 for Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb with time. Over the middle and completes it for the first down. Chad Lewis, who has become his favorite target. Lewis leads NFL tight ends with 55 catches. Yeah, Chad Lewis, twice released, including once by the Eagles. He has found his, what did George Jefferson call it, his piece of the pie with McNabb.
And Donovan McNabb actually trying to go up top on a deep pattern here, and very patient in the pocket in that he looks deep, then he's able to come back and find his good tight end right over the middle.
Oh, you have an injured Cleveland player now, so a timeout on the field. No score from Cleveland for now. We'll be right back. It is the injured Cleveland Brown, the strong safety. 1st and 10 Philadelphia. McNabb right over the middle against the tight end Chad Lewis. And the Eagles, who began this drive, James Lofton, from there too, slowly but steadily upfield with Donovan McNabb.
And you can see his patience. We talk about young quarterbacks needing to develop. They find themselves in all different type of situations here. You're a hostile crowd. They come out with a lot of geeky things offensively, and they back you up. Now it's your job to go out there and just simply play football.
2nd down and 4. Blasting through close to the first down is Darnell Autry. Now we should mention that Chris Warren has been picked up off waivers from the Dallas Cowboys, but he is not active for this game. The 11-year veteran will be getting a very hard look in practice. 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons with Seattle had Chris Warren, but for now it is still Darnell Autry getting the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, and that first down that they picked up on the ground, that's not something that Eagle running backs do very often. Normally it's a receiver or quarterback.
Luther Broughton, the tight end, went in motion. Here's McNabb again looking for a tight end. He's got Chad Lewis. 3rd catch on this drive. Chad Lewis, a one-time walk-on at BYU, the school that also produced Coach Andy Reid. And Reid thrilled to see Lewis developing like this.
Play action is all about fooling the linebackers. Donovan McNabb does a nice job. Darnell Autry, you fool the linebackers. McNabb has clear vision to throw the football. You can see him looking straight down the field. His tight end is always going to be there open space.
1st down from the 48. Cecil Martin now in at fullback. Handoff goes to Autry. He's able to hurdle across midfield. Tyrone Rogers on the stop. Now the fans still buzzing about that opening drive from the Cleveland Browns. We mentioned Tim Couch, obviously not available. He's done for the year. Ty Detmer was lost back in the preseason. They went through a 3rd-string quarterback. We saw quarterbacks 4, 5, and 6 essentially. Tony Graziani will be the 7th Cleveland quarterback if he gets in this game. Steady as she goes for Donovan McNabb, though, for Philly. 2nd and 8. Marty Moore comes in and forces 3rd down. The Browns are hollering here for grounding. They will not get it.
Yeah, but Johnny Greer is pointing right at the receiver. He said he had a guy to throw to. That ball barely got back to the line of scrimmage.
There was a receiver in the area.
You're right, that is what he said.
Yeah, he's talking about me. I'm the receiver in the area. Donovan McNabb, in those first 15 plays, you try a lot of different formations. Here the Browns come. Marty Moore is unblocked. McNabb is throwing in that direction. That ball's going down low, but you see the formation. Guys up top. Now when they cross the field, here's his receiver that he's trying to get the ball to. And that ball does cross the line of scrimmage, so that's a good call, or non-call by Johnny Greer.
Now we've got a flag. The clock winding down to 0.
Well,
offense. Still 3rd down.
See, I don't like this delay call because Johnny Greer stopped play for a little while so he could announce to the crowd why there was no call on the grounding, or what looked like grounding for the Cleveland fans. And when he did that, the Eagles said, okay, Johnny Greer's talking. We're going to stop for a second. Andy Reid trying to hold those emotions in. You see that big play sheet. He has the plays, the first 50 plays. They try a lot of different formations. Here he's going to spread them out with 3 receivers, trying to get a different look from the defense.
Johnson in motion. McNabb with a pump fake and now throws downfield for the first down and more. There goes Chad Lewis. Wrapped up inside the 5.
Well, Chad Lewis will never be mistaken for Carl Lewis because he was out in the open and he got run down. But that's no big deal. Tight ends are supposed to block and catch the football. See the motion by Charles Johnson coming across the backfield. That screws up the defensive secondary a little bit. Percy Ellsworth, number 43, loses his man in coverage, and then the Browns just collide. And it's good hustle at the tail end of the play to run down Lewis.
94 yards on this drive so far, 86 yards reeled in by Lewis. Now the handoff to Autry. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Darnell Autry puts the Philadelphia Eagles on top. They went 98 yards downfield. Darnell Autry, who last week had just 14 yards against the Tennessee Titans, and a sprained shoulder limited his practice time this week. But he's the man who punches it in. And David Akers is on to try and make it 7-0. Detmer with the hold, and the kick is good. 98 yards. They did it in fewer than 5 minutes. Autry takes it in after Lewis did a lot of the work. In Cleveland, where we know that a 98-yard scoring drive conjures up some bad imagery.
Down Elway.
Yep. This is a little different. This was Donovan McNabb to make it 7-0. And Jamel White gets the carry. He is stood up by Jeremiah Trotter and company. Damon Moore was there as well.
You know, in that 98-yard drive, didn't have a great running game to assist you. 4 yards on the ground, 94 yards in the air. Donovan McNabb, 5 out of 6. And his presence in the pocket. Remember, the one incompletion is one where he had pressure right in his face, got the ball away. So his ability to use that arm, we saw that, and the ability to use the feet where he could avoid the rush and throw the ball away.
The quarterback du jour is now, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Johnson, the wide receiver who used to catch the passes of Donovan McNabb at Syracuse. On the run, letting it fly, complete. And a first down for Cleveland. Kevin Johnson getting a chance to do what he thought he would do in college. That's wear an orange helmet and throw a quick pass towards the sideline. He never got that chance because Donovan McNabb took his job away from him.
The one thing that everybody knows about Kevin Johnson, he has a good deep arm. So you line up too deep, get those safeties really deep to avoid the deep ball. But Kevin Johnson has the ability to move in the pocket. He's been watching his buddy Donovan McNabb too much.
Now Doug Peterson back in. Rolls out, and it's David Patton. He's wrapped up a couple yards shy of the stick. Got to get to the 40-yard line. Barry Gardner made sure it wouldn't happen. Barry Gardner, Darnell Autry's teammate at Northwestern. And Peterson's got to be looking to the sideline just to make sure he's allowed to stay in the game, let alone anything else.
You know what? But they talked about this. They script these first 15 plays. I talked to Kevin Johnson before the ball game. He said, I'm going to play quarterback, and I'm going to play a lot early. He didn't tell me about Dennis Northcutt.
No. We saw him throw one pass in practice. That was it. We got flags from all over the place here. Jeremiah Trotter might have jumped.
Yeah, that was a slow snap by Sean O'Hara. It looked like he just kind of drugged the ball up slowly. He didn't snap it up there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
nobody says you have to snap it quickly.
False start on the center. Offense. Illegal snap with a double clutch. Still second down.
They get the rookie.
Wait a minute. His arm's not fast enough, so you're blaming the guy because he can't snap it fast?
Apparently. Sean O'Hara is in there because Dave Wallabaugh is still hurt. He's got the bad ankle. If O'Hara goes down today, you might see a right guard, Everett Lindsey, snapping the ball to a wide receiver, Kevin Johnson. This is Peterson, though, here. And he zips it to Northcutt. First down. And wrestled down by Emmons. Now, remember, Cleveland did not advance the ball past midfield all game. when they took on the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. The fans are digging this.
And they really should. Get behind them. This is a ball killer that's been down. You see Dennis Northcutt going off the field, pumping his arms. So they want the energy. They want the response from the fans. We talked about them coming out to compete. Well, they're fired up, but they need to cash some of these drives in to stay in the ballgame.
Cleveland with 2 first downs last week. They've got 5 in the first quarter today. Patton, the man in motion. They fake the pitch, and Peterson looks to air it out, and he dings it in there to Johnson. As we get to the end of the first quarter, and it is an energized 3-11 Cleveland team that will not go gently into that good night. The Philadelphia Eagles, though, have the lead 7-0. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
At the bottom of your screen, you'll see Kevin Johnson and Doug Peterson team up for a big league play because it's not open here. He has to throw it flat to the sideline.
Northcutt takes the snap now from quarterback position, and he barrels forward. Doug Peterson was in the game, but as a decoy, he went sprinting out as a wide receiver, James.
Don't tell Doug Peterson he's a decoy. He's going to go back and tell Northcutt he was open.
We have seen 3 quarterbacks, no waiting in this game. 2 of the 3 quarterbacks are wide receivers by trade. You're seeing numbers like 85 and 86 back in shotgun. I know Otto Graham wore 60 for a while, but it's been a while since we've seen 85s and 86s back there. Peterson delivers to 82. Touchdown! David Patton's first Cleveland Browns touchdown. An extra point away from tying it up. And this Cleveland crowd is acting like they cannot believe what they're seeing. This is a very different script. Wide receivers playing quarterback. All kinds of things going on as the Browns have tied up the Eagles.
In Cleveland, the Browns tie it up 7-7. Bobby Taylor, the corner, has to cover the inside. So, of course, the sneaky receiver, David Patton, will go to the outside. Taylor, no chance on this one. Browns, 7 points. Been a while. Peterson's a happy camper.
Well, only 2 hours and 11 minutes if you're scoring at home since their last points on the board. A 131-minute scoring drought comes to an end with a 9-yard pass. And now Bill Dawson kicks it away. Brian Mitchell, who's had many happy returns in the day. And Mitchell shakes his way, fumbled the football.
I haven't seen the official point to the ground and do that. The ground calls the fumble.
Earl Little's got it. It's Cleveland ball.
Yeah, it's time for Andy Reid to get the red sock out. He needs to challenge this because he doesn't want the momentum to shift over to Cleveland this easily.
Earl Little was on the fumble. Philadelphia's special teams have been terrific this year. It's been Cleveland's that have been suspect.
Well, you'll get the same look at it here as the officiating crew will. That ball is out before he hits the ground. Excellent non-call. Cleveland's going to get this ball regardless of what Andy Reid tries to argue with the officiating crew.
Yeah, the challenge is coming from Andy Reid. Boy, this takes you back a little, doesn't it? What was the name of the movie? Freaky Friday, where everything was all twisted around. Philadelphia was supposed to be the special teams juggernaut. Cleveland is supposed to be the team that has all kinds of problems on special teams. Even that's turned around early.
I would think that Johnny Greer makes it an NFL record for the least amount of time under the hood when he starts to review this one. Because Brian Mitchell doesn't have a snowball chance in Phoenix of winning this one.
Nice audible by you. Yeah, ball is out right there.
That ball's definitely out. Now, I think the more important thing for Philadelphia, they're not going to get the ball back. Jim Johnson, you got to figure out how can I stop this multiple quarterback offense. Now, Granted, Northcutt's been in, he's run a couple of times. Kevin Johnson's thrown the ball. But Doug Peterson, you know, the spotlight, the glare is off of him. He has played exceptionally well when he's been in. He's thrown the ball well on the run, thrown the ball well from the pocket, and he has to be feeling like, hey, those guys, I still got the red vest on, just like practice. When I played there, they can't hurt me.
And Eagles fans have to be thinking, where the heck was this last year?
Play stance is called on the field. Player lost possession of the ball prior to hitting the ground. Philadelphia is charged with the timeout.
Andy Reid stalking the sidelines. Things indeed are flip-flopped all around in this game. Special teams. And you take one more look at it here.
Yeah, you see it again. You see the helmet by Little on the football, and Little ends up the guy who recovers this ball because Brian Mitchell, really cool. He just kind of walked away like, hey, you know, I was down. No, that's not a fumble. I'm not going to scramble after the football because I didn't fumble it.
Well, even which team has the more dynamic offense? That is flip-flopped early in this game. It's Cleveland on the march once more with Peterson. And a two-receiver, one-back set, actually three receivers out with Patton joining the mix as Prentice gets across at 35. The first down make is the 27. Corey Simon made the stop. Travis Prentice thrust into the lineup in Week 6 after the veteran Eric Rett went down with a season-ending foot injury. And checking the field to see which of these several quarterback options the Browns are going to go with now. It would appear to be Kevin Johnson. And Kevin Johnson is going to burn a timeout.
They also had 12 people in the huddle. The Eagles are furious right now. You can't line up with 12 and shift a guy out late.
7-7 tie, and the Browns on the move with the three-headed quarterback monster. Lewin with James Lofton in Cleveland. Were either one of us named Regis Philbin, we'd be calling this Who Wants to Be a Quarterback? And we have had three different ones for the Browns already. Two of them wide receivers, Dennis Northcutt and Kevin Johnson, each lining up. We should point out, in shotgun formation both times. Johnny Greer has just announced another penalty.
Well, they penalized them. They did have 12 men in the huddle before they called that timeout. They broke the huddle with 12. One guy sprinted off the field. So it's a situation where, sure, they've kind of practiced all this new quarterback stuff, but they haven't really ironed out all the little wrinkles.
Three receivers set. Prentice, the lone man in the backfield. On second down, Peterson drills it over the middle. The tight end, Aaron Shea, out of Michigan. And he does have first down yardage. Yes, you do, Mr. Shea.
Talked to Aaron Shea before the ball game. This rookie told me, he said, before I went to training camp, I went to a speed coach. That time they split him out wide as a wide receiver in the slot. This guy's pretty good. He's not a big tight end, but he really is a good speed guy, good receiver, and he's learning how to block from that close position.
Out of the eye, and the first down make is the 13-yard line. Prentice gets only one or two. Now, we were talking to the coordinators yesterday, and you talk about Aaron Shea. Philadelphia defensive coordinator Jim Johnson spoke so highly of him, saying that probably the best thing the Browns have going right now is their two young tight ends out of Michigan. Shea backed up by Campbell.
Jim Johnson trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be a quarterback? What kind of set are they going to come out in? And what it's done is it has made the Eagles a little more passive. They haven't blitzed as much.
Johnson in motion. Peterson to the air. Looked like it hit Jeremiah Trotter right in the shin. Going to bring up a third down situation here when Jeremiah Trotter has had a huge year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Quick, strong, and aggressive. Three pretty good traits for a linebacker to have. He's got them in Pro Bowl doses.
Got their nickel package in now. They bring in Mike Caldwell, number 56. Very active linebacker, covers well. And they move Bobby Taylor, number 21, right there into the slot position.
On third down, Peterson. He's got Patton again. First down inside the 10. David Patton, whose biggest NFL game coming into this year was against the Eagles, having a pretty good day against them again.
But excellent team knowledge by Doug Peterson. He knows his Eagle lineup up and down. He also knows that Al Harris is kind of the odd man out. He's not a starter, good player, but where is the weak link in the team? He found it, and he attacked it.
First and goal for Cleveland. And out of the eye with Edwards, the fullback, handoff Travis Prentice. Scooting to the outside. Troy Vincent came over to make the hit.
Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator, said we get down in the red zone defensively. We're not real complicated. We run a couple of different things. People know what we run, and to beat us, you have to be able to run the football against us or play action like crazy and fool one of our safeties. That time, they just stuffed it right down their throats. They ran wide. They got the corner hook. And Jim Johnson's thinking, did my guys come to play today?
Into the red zone with Dennis Northcutt at quarterback. The wide receiver, number 86, looking to take it right up the gut. Pinballs outside and gets close to the goal line.
You know, Northcutt did a nice job that time because he wanted to run the ball in between the left tackle and the left guard. He looked there. That hole was closed up. Watch it. He goes to his left first. He says, nope, not there, not there. And he does a nice job at the end in extending that football and getting them some great yardage. Almost lost his head, too.
Northcutt, no touchdowns as a wide receiver this year. Almost had one as a quarterback. Third and goal. And it's Peterson now back to run the show. And off Prentice. Touchdown, Cleveland!
Earlier we saw the fullback lead and the tailback go the opposite direction. Well, Cleveland's not that complicated. They say, we're going to blow you out of the hole. Travis Prentice, what did he score, about 900 touchdowns while he was in college? Likes the smell of that end zone.
And he's back there for the 6th time at the NFL level. Cleveland 14-7. You know, the Eagles were the Browns last year. 3-11, playing a team fighting for a playoff berth. Now the tables are turning here. Well, there's conjecture about the future of Chris Palmer as the coach of the Cleveland Browns. Is that pulling out all the stops?
Definitely pulling out all the stops. But Kevin Johnson has been the throwing second quarterback, and Dennis Northcutt right there has been the running second quarterback. I wonder how long it'll take the Eagles to figure that one out.
Well, the Eagles did what they set out to do. They wanted some first quarter lightning, and indeed, when they had the ball, they went 98 yards downfield for a score. They didn't figure on Cleveland doing this. Here's Donovan McNabb. Airing it out. He's got his man streaking down the sideline, Charles Johnson. And a huge pickup for Philadelphia.
The rookie Todd Pinkston. Pinkston 87 as opposed to 81. All those receivers nice and skinny, look good going down the sideline. Just one-on-one. Pinkston a little shuffle at the line of scrimmage. And then it's just speed versus speed. Pinkston has a little more speed. You know, if he had a couple more pounds there, he'd be able to pull out of the tackle of Corey Fuller.
Pinkston lining up on that far side. He had the big 45-yard reception last week against Tennessee. Now a handoff. And maneuvering to the outside, being shoved out of bounds is Autry. 45 last week on the reception. That one was 42, and we send it out to James Brown at the Fox Network Center in L.A.
Hey, Josh, Miami's success thus far predicated upon protecting the ball real well. Not here as Fiedler throws is picked off by Jamie Duncan. He returns it 31 yards for the score. Bucks are up by 4 in the second. Josh Lewin and that smooth receiver I haven't seen in a while, James Lofton.
Now, and you know what, James? He's next to go in at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
JB under center. Let me see if I can picture that.
I'm still working on it. Got a second down coming here. Got to get the ball inside the 15. The pass deflected, but caught. And it's Pritchett, who will gallop right to the 6 and out of bounds. Percy Ellsworth was there, but so was Courtney Brown initially. That may be the first thing that has not gone great for Cleveland today. A deflected ball ends up in the hands of Pritchett.
And every defensive lineman will tell you, I used to be a tight end or whatever in high school. He has his chance. John Runyon doesn't cut him down. And Runyon needs to get to those knees and get that guy on the ground. Everybody has to know what the call is when they break the huddle. And that's a quick pass to the outside. It may look like 3 receivers out there. They're just trying to get that ball to Pritchard, get him out in space so he can run the football.
First down inside the 15, a little play fake, and now McNabb. He unloads out of bounds, and a flag is down.
Well, that flag is going to be down in the air where it would either be illegal contact or holding by the defense. Or the third. I didn't get to my C. Offensive interference. And there's been a rumor that these guys like to run little pick plays down the field.
You've heard that rumor, huh?
Just a rumor.
Pass interference. Number 38. Offense. Still first down.
And the man they call Big Red still doing a slow burn on the sideline. That's Coach Andy Reid.
But the defense caused that. By throwing the timing off on Donovan McNabb, he should have delivered the ball. You know, the fullback is telling you, Cecil Martin saying, well, you know, I thought he would have thrown the ball by now. I'm just trying to block my man like we did in practice.
Autry, the lone man in the backfield, at his first and 20. Tight end Thomason in motion, and now McNabb with time. McNabb towards the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Small got to the pylon. Donovan McNabb, a quick strike. And the Eagles want to take this crowd out of it here. A chance to even it up with the extra point.
Now, sometimes you see the receiver catch the touchdown, but it's the receiver who's not getting the ball who's doing the work. And Charles Johnson may be the hardest working guy who didn't get a lot of passes on this team.
Ninth-year pro provides a big target for Donovan McNabb. Akers swings the point after, up and through a 24-yard pass. Now, McNabb has thrown for close to 200 yards. He's needed every one of them against Cleveland. One of America's most enduring corporate images, the Goodyear blimp, is floating overhead, providing aerial views today. The spirit of Goodyear, proud to be a part of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company with corporate headquarters just down the road in Akron.
Would you? Did you go up?
Well, you know what? If those guys are going out on the USS Harry Truman, maybe I can do the blimp.
We saw Charles Johnson, number 81, go inside. That held the safety just enough to get the ball to the outside, right over the pylon. Soren Small. Nice little throw there, isn't it?
And you know, Small and the other key receiver, Charles Johnson, had combined for just one touchdown catch in their last 8 games coming in. This is Jamel White heading to the outside. Jamel White out of bounds as he crossed near midfield. David Akers had to go over there to shove him out of bounds. Plenty of giddy-up from this Cleveland team today. And Philadelphia, only 7 minutes or so total today of hanging on to the football, but they've got it tied up.
Donovan McNabb, 3 out of 3. On fire. Way to put it for this guy.
For the day, he's 8 for 9 and really hasn't had to run the ball today. Hugh Douglas, though, will try and make sure that the Cleveland quarterback, whoever it may be, might have to get the heck out of Dodge. Douglas third in the NFL in sacks. With a blitz coming, that one almost picked. Troy Vincent diving after it, came up a little short.
Well, both quarterbacks, 8 out of 9 throwing the football. Donovan McNabb, the big advantage in yardage, but his guys have come up with the big plays. But it's also been, we talked about a 3-headed monster for the Browns. We're going to get another head on that monster.
Now Monster's growling again. Here's Johnson, who again was with Donovan McNabb at Syracuse. It was a battle. Which one of those guys would be the starting quarterback for the Orangemen? Handing the ball off. And it's Jamel White. Not talking about it. With the good friends, Kevin Johnson and Donovan McNabb, they arrived at Syracuse together competing for the same job. They began as mortal enemies, to hear Donovan McNabb tell it. McNabb won the starting job, and eventually Johnson got over it. It was Marvin Harrison, also a Syracuse receiver then, who suggested to Johnson he switched to wide receiver because McNabb was going to be the man.
But the long range, McNabb at 6'3", Johnson at 5'11". really does have the better body to be a quarterback.
Peterson underthrows. And Cleveland's going to have to punt it away. Kevin Johnson very excited about this opportunity today. Back in college, it was McNabb to Kevin Johnson, number 5 to number 12 for the Orangemen.
How about those big shoulder pads, Donovan McNabb?
Yeah, right on. And the orange helmet's a familiar look today. Pretty good combination, those two, and they remain terrific friends. Now Gardocki on to punt for, believe it or not, just the second time today. He's been a busy man previously. His 100th punt of the season, fielded by Mitchell. Ryan Mitchell to the outside, plowed out of bounds. And a flag comes down late.
Yeah, they're going to throw the flag on Raheem Abdullah, number 53, right across the boundary. When you see white, usually you see red in somebody's eyes, but when you get right along that boundary, that's a no-no area. This flag is thrown from a long way back. And he is out of bounds, and I think it's the forearm that drives into him, gets the official's eye.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53 of the kicking team. Late hit out of bounds. First down.
You're going to see it right along the stripe. And Brian Mitchell doesn't back away from this. He's ready to deliver the blow. You see him stepping into it. That is out of bounds. Both feet out of bounds on the white stripe.
So Philadelphia gets the ball on the 36-yard line. Out of the eye, Donovan McNabb fakes the handoff. Is chased, and down he goes. Jameer Miller closed hard. And a loss of 11 on the play.
And it's pressure from the side and the middle. Donovan McNabb, you want to keep your rush lanes. Everybody has a job here. You want to chase Donovan McNabb, but you don't want to get out of control. They do a nice job in containing him in the pocket. See number 98, Arnold Miller on the outside. Courtney Brown, number 92, closing from the other side. Good pocket containment on Donovan McNabb.
Chad Lewis in motion. Over the middle. And at the 30-yard line, I believe they're calling it complete for Torrance Small.
You know what? That may be a completion, but that ball, if thrown right in the belly of the receiver, allows that receiver to run. Donovan McNabb gets that front leg just a little too straight. We lose a little bit, but when that leg is straight, the ball then has a tendency to go down. He needs to keep that front leg bent a little more. He'll get that ball in position. His receiver will be able to run after the catch.
3rd and 21. McNabb looking, rushed, down he goes again. Dale McCutcheon. And you know what he was telling us? He said, it's pride right now. He doesn't want to be on anybody's highlight tape for the wrong reason. Well, he's just made his own highlight tape here.
But you know what? A quarterback's greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. Sometimes he can think, well, I can escape almost anything. That time they bring 6. Guy comes unblocked. McNabb gets sacked.
Sean Landetta's punt wobbling around near midfield. Cleveland, which remember did not cross midfield against Jacksonville last week, will get the ball across midfield to start. A 14-14 tie. And Donovan McNabb has seen some pressure today from Cleveland.
Yeah, he's been pressured right up the middle. They're talking about it with his quarterback coach right there on the sideline. He's saying, you know, this is where it came from. And Brad Childers is trying to explain it to him. Okay, just settle down. We know where they came from. We'll fix it up front. You're doing fine. We'll fix it up front.
Who do you want at quarterback, by the way, for Cleveland?
Well, I saw Bernie Kosar before the game. He still looks pretty good.
How about wide receiver Dennis Northcutt? Slashing. We were joking with Kevin Johnson yesterday. He sat down coming into the meeting room. We greeted him as Slash. He said, no, that's Cordell Stewart. I'm just doing this just to try something out. Now Dennis Northcutt tries it too.
Yeah, tremendous run. You can see the concentration on the snap from center. Dennis Northcutt's got a great punt returner, so he's used to these kind of broken open field runs, and he does a nice job getting away from Hollis Thomas, number 78. Thomas came through unblocked, but, you know, as the punt returner, you're supposed to make one guy miss.
Handoff this time. Prentice spins to the 40, but he's got to get in between the 38 and 39 for the first down. Jeremiah Trotter had the hit.
Critical possession for the Browns. You get the ball in positive territory the last 2 times out. Now you need to convert this into points. Keep this drive moving. You give your defense a chance to rest on the sideline, and obviously you get to put points on the scoreboard. You see what they've done offensively the last 2 games, what they've been able to do already in the first half.
Browns dead last in the league on 3rd down. Here they are on 3rd, call it 2. Peterson looking for an open man, has to throw it out of bounds. And Peterson is drilled out of bounds.
He's drilled, and he knocks over Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator. So he's telling Johnson, hey, you're going to blitz me. I'm going to get you on the sideline. Peterson, everybody's rolled out to the right side. They're trying to flood that side, but the Eagles do a nice job in dropping people back. And there's Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator. He takes a big spill, knocks his headset off. Johnson's thinking, next time I'm going to put the shoulder in.
Previously, that had only been a metaphor with Jim Johnson looking out there wondering what was going on today with all those quarterbacks running at him. Gardocki sends this one into the end zone. Hardest working punter in the business these days. And Philadelphia will have it 1st and 10. 40-yard punt. And Chris Gardocki continues with an NFL record, 719 punts now without a block.
Now that's a great number, but Gardocki also has only had 5 touchbacks during the year. A guy who's punted over 100 times. He's great at killing that ball, and you can see how he felt about it until he goes, oh no, I thought I put the right spin on that one.
4:17 left first half, tied at 14 here at Brown Stadium. Donovan McNabb has thrown for 171 yards today. Hands it all to Pritchett, who's flattened. Getting to the original line of scrimmage, and Wally Rayner hit him.
You know, sometimes it can get so loud you don't hear the audibles. That was a run audible. They had a pass on initially. Wide receiver in the slot. If you don't block your man, your guys will get stuck. He's supposed to come in and get this first force. He doesn't do it. His guy gets blown. You saw that indecision right there. Do I come in and get him? His guy, Ellsworth, then blows him up in the hole.
2nd down and 9. McNabb flares it out and misses his target there. Was looking for Small.
You know what? With Donovan McNabb's basketball background, what he has to realize, give my guys a chance for a jump ball. Corey Fuller listed at 5'10". He hopes to grow to be 5'10" one day. You got Torrance Small, who's not small at 6'3". Throw that ball up, make it a jump ball. And Donovan McNabb should know that. He thought he could play in the NBA one day.
Fuller had a rough game last week trying to defend Jimmy Smith in that exact situation you described. 3rd and 9.
Got Jameer Miller sneaking up in there.
McNabb over the middle, completes it for the first down. And when in doubt, you look for that tight end, Chad Lewis.
Donovan McNabb, we can't emphasize it too much, but it's not the ability to run that always helps the quarterback out. Just the ability to slide away from the pressure a little bit. Miller shows up, he slides, he steps up, and he delivers an accurate ball. And Chad Lewis, you talk about tight ends being able to do a lot of things. But when you catch that ball in your hands over the middle, when it's low, that's a great catch.
100 yards catching the ball for Lewis today. This ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Now, but going back to Donovan McNabb, everyone close to the Eagles, James, lauds what they call his unflappability, the ability to stay cool in a tough spot. I don't know if realistically he thought this would be a tough spot today. The Browns, the front four is undersized compared to that huge Eagles offensive line. McNabb has been chased around today.
Yeah, but when we talked to the Eagles offensive players and their coaches, they said this Browns defense is good. They've got some athletes, some good speed. So the Browns thought they matched up against them pretty well. So far, they've done a good job defensively.
Again, Lewis in motion on 2nd down. McNabb and a flag is down.
Yeah, you're going to get a holding call on Jameer Miller. He's matched up against Chad Lewis, the tight end, and he clamped onto him like a lady looking for a sale item during Christmas.
Did you get that out of the Dennis Miller playbook?
Not quite. Jameer Miller's going.
Holding, 95, defense. First down.
You have coverage linebackers and rush linebackers. Guys can drop back into coverage in a zone, but it's another thing. Chad Lewis comes across, and you kind of thinking he's going to run it out. He bursts across you, and the right thing to do is to hold. Don't give up the big pass. Now, that's a 5-yard gain, the first down, but they didn't get the big gain out of it.
And the first down make right at the midfield stripe. 2:48 left here in the first half. McNabb over the middle and completes it for the first down. That's Torrance Small again. Small already with a touchdown catch today. And he does provide that big target. We talked about it. Andy Reid says you shake hands with Small. It's like shaking hands with a catcher's mitt.
And there's no need for the Eagles to get in hurry-up mode here. 2:20 to go in the first half. They still have 2 timeouts. They burned 1 timeout on the challenge that was right in front of their bench. With Donovan McNabb very poised today. So I wouldn't worry about hurrying up right now.
McNabb again over the middle, and again it's Torrance Small. That's his 3rd catch of the day.
Both the last balls to Small have been thrown to a spot. Small has gotten to the spot. He's put the ball in the correct spot for him. Now, Small's thinking, you throw this ball up a little bit, and I can continue to run. Donovan McNabb throws it low, which protects the receiver when he's coming across the middle. And Small goes down to ensure the catch, but he'd love to be running in the end zone for 6 points.
McNabb hasn't had to run, but he's thrown for 228 yards. First and 10, Philadelphia, 14-14 tie. Torrance Small again. The quick underneath. And a little bit shy of the first down. Lamar Chapman was on the coverage. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. Plus our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Nice pace by Andy Reid and the Eagles. No need to hurry down here. Got plenty of time to score.
Second and long 1. McNabb. This time he'll run it. And he's tripped up as he gets down to the 8-yard line. It's the first time we've had to see Donovan McNabb do what he does normally so well.
Well, he was forced to run that time. They tried to get corner out to Torrance Small. Nice bracket coverage on the outside by the Browns. 7 guys to watch Donovan McNabb, and he still gains a couple of yards.
Philadelphia.
The Eagles use a timeout. They've got 1 more with 1:12 left before the half. Well, Donovan McNabb, whose career best is 311 yards through the air, is already up to 237 here today. We're about a minute shy of the first half. And we've been talking about Donovan McNabb and his ability to run the ball. You mentioned it, James. He hasn't really had to do it much yet today.
Yeah, but his ability to move around, the Browns know about that. So what they want to do, they want to keep him from getting to the outside. So they're going to contain him on the outside and not let him get around the corner.
On third down, McNabb to the end zone. Scooped up there for the touchdown.
Well, that was close.
Torrance Small, his 2nd of the day.
And Chris Palmer doesn't have to worry about reviewing this one because this will automatically be looked at up top. When you're under 2 minutes in the first half and at the end of the ball game, the guys up in the booth will take a look at it. That ball appeared to have a little skip in it.
And indeed, here come the whistles now. An official's timeout.
We are reviewing the play on the field.
Small going down, and he peeled it into his midsection, but did he peel it off the ground?
Oh, we're going to get to take a real nice look at it. Torrance Small working against Dalen McCutcheon, and it's just a scramble drill. He breaks back to the inside. Well, that was fast. When we slow it down, there's a little movement in there. Maybe it bounced off Small's hands and then up, but that ball definitely had a little skip in it. See Donovan McNabb looking right, then coming back to the left, throws that ball nice and low where only his guy can get it. It looks like Small just plucks this ball right off the ground. We get a better picture in super slow motion here. They're the hands. Hands right out of the air. Great catch by Small.
Oh, he talked about Andy Reid's description of the catcher's mitt.
That was it right there.
Didn't have to shovel it out of the dirt. He got down there and apparently made a clean catch of what would be his second touchdown catch of the day inside the 10-yard line. Touchdown from 9, and now pending this message from Johnny Greer, a touchdown from 8.
Well, Small has the size advantage down there. He's 6'3", bigger than
After
both
reviewing
the guys.
the play stance is called on the field. Have a touchdown. The player gained possession without the ball touching the ground.
And I love his explanations. I'd love for him to come over to my house and read my kids' books at night, because he's going to go through it and he's going to read it, then he's going to say, well, the little bear actually wanted to do this.
He does break it down for you a little bit, doesn't he? And Small been anything but today. Somebody got a hand on that, but the ball flutters up and through anyway. Torrance Small, a 2-touchdown afternoon. Philly back on top.
They played well so far. Granted, they're down 21-14. Don't give the ball up on a turnover here. They played such a clean game to this point.
With a minute to go. They fake the screen. They hand it to Travis Prentice, and he's going to be dragged down across the 30. Hugh Douglas was there to make the stop. Well, it's funny that a guy wearing number 80 today is having such a big day for the Philadelphia Eagles.
What's so funny about that?
In your honor, big man. Whether it's from, say, Ken O'Brien.
Look at that stiff arm.
Get to the outside, baby.
You know, I was so old they had to throw the ball to me very softly.
Now that, by the way, the last of your 764, correct?
My final reception, and we went on to win that ball game in overtime.
You know, I was going to ask you about that, too, because in that 93 season, the Eagles had lost 8 of 9 going into Week 15.
You're blaming that on me.
No, hang with me for a sec. You guys came out of it to win the last couple weeks. You beat New Orleans, you beat San Francisco. Cleveland, I guess, looking to do the same thing. Their season is kind of lost. It's way past lost. But boy, they're hanging right with Philadelphia today. Peterson off his back foot, completes it to Prentice, and running it laterally right along that first down make. He had to get to the 39, and he was dancing sideways right at the 39.
Boy, Peterson's doing a nice job to staying under control and really handling this offense well.
Now, very composed today. 8 out of 12 through the air.
You know what's funny, though? Kevin Johnson and the Northcutt are going, put me in, coach, put me in.
Well, I tell you what, if it comes to a point where somebody's got to air it out and throw it 60 yards, Kevin Johnson, from what we saw in practice, would probably be your man.
Yeah, but what I like best about what Chris Palmer has done, I mean, this team was down in the dumps, beaten 90-7 in the previous week, shut out 48-0 against Jacksonville. He's put the fun back in football for this ball club in this first set.
Oh, and they were outmanned before the season even began, but then they've been obliterated by injuries. They are, what's that word that you hate? Competing. They're competing today. Northcutt. And he slips to the 39-yard line on a first down play. Brings up second down and 10 with the clock ticking.
They move the ball down the field. You got 30 seconds to play. Let's get this off quickly. Only one timeout remaining. We got to get set up, though. On the line of scrimmage, Pat.
Peterson flushed out. He tucks it. Got to get to the sidelines here, and he does. Al Harris chased him that way. 12
seconds, one timeout. Doug Peterson would have been a lot better. No timeouts remaining. Doug Peterson would have been a lot better there. Just throwing the ball out of bounds, incomplete. Throwing it far down over their heads. He would have saved a little time on the clock. They've got time for one sideline play. You really can't gain enough yards here down the middle. Spike it to get up, run up and spike it with 12 seconds on the clock.
Cleveland will end up having possession of the ball for about 18, almost 19 minutes in this first half. They had it for 21 minutes all game last week.
Hook and lateral.
There he goes to Northcutt. Can he get outside? Yes, he does with 4 seconds left. Brian Dawkins was there to shove him out, and now do you send on Dawson for a very long field goal attempt, or do you let Kevin Johnson take a stab at it here.
Well, I talked to Dawson before the ball game. He said, you know, the cold, you don't kick the ball as far. The winds are very shifty today. Actually, they have just a slight tailwind at their back. If he were to line up and kick one right now, it would be about 57 yards. That's too low a trajectory. That ball would get blocked and maybe run back the opposite direction.
That's going to be Peterson at quarterback. From out of the shotgun with 4 seconds left, a chance to tie it up. As we get to halftime, blitz coming. Look out! Down he goes, Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas, his 15th sack of the season. And that ends what was a very exciting, and you had to see it to believe it, kind of first half. 3 different quarterbacks used by the Browns, 2 of them wide receivers. But this was Peterson getting dumped down to the grass by Douglas as time expired.
Well, they'll be busy in the Eagle locker room trying to decipher what they did defensively. And I think Cleveland, all they need to go back and figure out, okay, we need to do a couple things to tighten this up offensively.
14 points apiece in that second quarter, and by a touchdown, the Eagles lead it at halftime. We'll be back in a moment. Well, the Eagles getting everything that they can handle today from the 3-11 Cleveland Browns. Josh Lewin, James Lofton here with you at Browns Stadium, the old Mary Tyler Moore Classic. A little song, a little dance. No seltzer down your pants in this game, at least not yet, but we're not ruling anything out. It's been quite a first half of play.
I think the thing for the Eagles is that they've thrown the ball exceptionally well. We knew that they would do that, but they haven't been able to run the football. And I think for the Eagles, looking forward to the playoffs, have to be concerned about that. But Donovan McNabb has been everything that you wanted in the first half. He's thrown a couple of touchdown passes, being able to get the ball out to his wide receivers. Small, I hate to say it, has come up big in the first half. 2 touchdown receptions for Torrance Small. The second one, everybody thought that it skipped the turf. No, it just hit his hand. Caught the football.
Part of a 245-yard passing first half for Donovan McNabb. And Andy Reid, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, enjoying a 21-14 lead right now. Our Don Tollefson caught up with Coach Reid earlier.
Coach, the Browns not only come out very enthused, but they go with the 3 quarterbacks.
Well, they did. They kind of had a unique scheme there, and we're going to go in, get our adjustments done, and come out ready to smoke that second half now.
Your quarterback, Donovan McNabb, excellent first half, especially to his tight end, Chad Lewis, and to Torrance Small, some great catches.
Well, we've got to keep it going.
Thanks very much. Good luck in the second half, Coach. Back up to you guys.
I don't love it when the coaches elaborate like that. Got to keep it going.
He's no Johnny Greer.
Well, you know, and he needs to get in there. 12-minute halftime is not a long time. Your team actually comes back out with 2 minutes to go. Takes about a minute and a half to walk in, so you've really got about 8 minutes to make adjustments. You know what? Good coaches make adjustments before they go in at halftime, so they've been tinkering with the defense on the sideline, and Andy Reid is on those headsets with Jim Johnson. His counterpart on the other side, he's feeling pretty good about what's going on with Chris Palmer. He said, now we need to get in the end zone when we cross midfield.
Chris Palmer saying basically everyone's lost confidence in everything, but a game like this one, just hanging in there and doing something different. 3 different quarterbacks, and it's a 21-14 game.
So if we expected to see Kevin Johnson at quarterback, we did not expect to see Dennis Northcutt. He's been able to run the ball out the backfield. And Kevin Johnson, he's going to be real proud of those 23 yards that he had passing. But the anchor has been Doug Peterson. He's been nothing short of spectacular in the first half. 11 out of 15, 114 yards and a touchdown.
Peterson insisting there's no bitterness. He was released by the Eagles just a week after he had brought his family in to Philly, settling into the house they had bought. Out he goes. He latches on with Cleveland, gets a chance to play against the Eagles today. Phil Dawson kicks it away. And Brian Mitchell, who remember had a fumble earlier. Up to the 30 before he's gang tackled, and the Eagles will get Donovan McNabb back on the field.
You know, one of the things that the Eagles had tried to do coming into this ballgame is we need to spread the ball out a little better. In this ballgame, look at the numbers between the tight ends and the wide receivers. Now, that number's even, and that's a good thing for this offense. When you think about this offense, I think too often you thought, well, Chad Lewis is the only guy. Forget about those guys on the outside.
And the backup tight end, Jeff Thomason, has as many touchdown catches as a guy named Keyshawn Johnson does. Ouch. Charles Johnson, by the way, is out right now. I've heard of his shoulder has gone off for x-rays. We'll try and keep you posted if we get more info.
At the 8-man front, throw the ball outside.
McNabb does. and his new best friend, Torrance Small, joining Chad Lewis on that short list of guys to look for in this game.
When you think about them closing out the season, the Eagles against Cleveland and against Cincinnati, sure, these teams don't have winning records that they're facing, but it's also a time you want to win both those ball games, but to polish up on things offensively. Donovan McNabb, we talked about how sharp he looked. Now it's time to maybe get a little running game going.
If they do win twice, they get a home field wild card game at least. McNabb tried to screen it, and it was Courtney Brown that got a hand up there.
Once again, John Runyon has his hands on Courtney Brown, and it would be real easy for Courtney Brown to say, okay, I'm being blocked. There's nothing else I can do. Courtney Brown up top. He's going to rush against John Runyon, and once he gets engaged, he has his eyes on Donovan McNabb, and the staple of the West Coast offense is to swing that ball out to the running back, which is nothing more than a wide handoff. That's part of their running game.
Brings up 3rd down and 8. Over the middle, and he completes it to Pinkston. Todd Pinkston's second big catch on a 3rd down today. Todd Pinkston out of Southern Miss. That's Brett Favre's college of choice, James, and with Philly, he catches passes from a guy often compared to Favre, and Donovan McNabb.
When I look at Todd Pinkston, he looks like he weighs about $188. One of the coaches said, well, he looks like you. I said, no, I'm a lot more muscular than that guy. But he can fly, and when you catch balls over the middle as a speed receiver, that just adds a lot of value to your stock.
Darnell Autry, who is trying to make sure he stays in good graces with a big day today. We remind you, Chris Warren has been brought in from Dallas. The 11-year veteran will begin to practice with the Eagles. Although the Eagles, you mentioned, they've got the bye week. They've got Cincinnati to close out. But then, assuming they win either today or against Cincinnati, it's time for the playoffs. And then does Chris Warren become involved? 2nd down, 5. And a whistle will stop everything.
You know, I think we had another one of those kind of jerky snaps.
The center. Illegal snap. Still 2nd down.
Yeah, they get Bubba Miller.
And I think that Donovan McNabb got him with his voice inflection. Watch McNabb's head just move a little bit. He's yelling real hard and gets his center. You would think that the center would know when to snap the ball. He does. But Donovan McNabb tripped him up that time with his voice inflection.
2nd down, 9. Got to get the ball to the Cleveland 42. McNabb chased, fires, and completes it. And galloping outside, it is Charles Johnson. A flag comes down.
Got a little face mask there at the end of the play.
Oh, we mentioned Johnson was being looked at. I guess the shoulder's okay. He's back in there, made a big play.
You know, Charles Johnson is a tough guy. When we met with him yesterday, he said, you know, I know I'm not the best receiver in the NFL. That's Randy Moss's job. But I'm the best blocker in the NFL.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 21. Defense. 1st down.
And it's that tough guy image that awards him here because the tight end's open over the middle. McNabb looks at the tight end, but he says, no, I know CJ was in the locker room getting his shoulder looked at. He's coming out to play. I'm going to reward him with a pass. Even gets his face mask jerked there a little bit at the end of it. But when you're a tough guy, guys on the team respect that. That time, Donovan McNabb said, hey, you're out here. I'm going to hook you up.
It's 1st and 10 from the 10, but you can get a 1st down without a touchdown here. McNabb with a pump fake. Now flushed out and running. Donovan McNabb throws it out of the end zone. Well, you talked about Charles Johnson and that tough guy image. He showed us the softer side yesterday, too, talking about his young son, the 4-year-old Charles Johnson III, said on the way out of town, Daddy, I want a touchdown. So we'll see if that's in the offing here on 2nd and 10.
He's getting close. They had a little corner out there, called for Charles Johnson. He looked both ways. Donovan McNabb didn't like it. And his ability to move around bought him a little bit of time he could throw the football away.
And right around here, the tight ends do tend to get involved. Let's see what happens now on 2nd down and 10. But again, the possibility of a 1st down without a touchdown. McNabb finds the end zone, and guess who? You got your touchdown, Charles Johnson III, courtesy of Donovan McNabb. Daddy comes through.
When you had the motion in the backfield, you get a guy to go with him. You know that you have one-on-one coverage to the outside. See the motion? He follows him. He's covering him. You got one-on-one coverage. Charles Johnson breaks it to the inside. It's just pitch and catch.
Johnson once a 1,000-yard receiver for the Steelers. His 5th touchdown this year. And that one dedicated back home to his 4-year-old son. Philadelphia out quickly here in the 3rd quarter. Leading now 28-14. The pride of Mooresville, PA, just across the river from Trenton, New Jersey. It is Mr. Troy Vincent.
Yeah, but that's just bait. He's up close, and then he takes off running. David Patton has no chance. Doug Peterson, just like a fish trying to go after a worm on a hook.
Eagles looking for their second 98-yard scoring drive of the day. Charles Johnson was not able to reel this one in, keeping the fishing imagery alive.
And we looked at that pass earlier. We saw him trying to throw it to Torrance Small. Some quarterbacks throw that quick stop fade better than the others. Donovan McNabb is in that others category. He doesn't throw that very well, or at least not today.
And the pick by Vincent, the second for the Eagles today. Vincent telling us yesterday about the words of Don Shula ringing in his ears. Athletes come and go. The smart guys stay around. Pretty smart coverage there. He ended up with a pick. McNabb out of the end zone. And he finds the fullback. And still on his feet is Cecil Martin. First down and more.
Well, we saw Tariq Salah on the other side of the ball doing it for the Browns, and this time Cecil Martin leaking out the backfield. But if you're Cleveland, you're going up against a team that doesn't run the ball very well. So what can they hurt you with? The pass. So make sure that you cover anybody. Martin gets out. And once again, he's not going down there easily because these guys don't get the ball a lot. So I'm not getting the ball, and they turn back in, and they dish out punting.
Now a handoff, and it is Darnell Autry. And with the first, he's got the first down. The Eagles had only 18 yards running the ball today until that play. But the former Northwestern Wildcat and budding actor Darnell Autry moves the chains again.
So much about running the football is attitude. The offensive lineman coming off, but also helping out down the field. And once this play was almost over, you're going to see the big lineman come in and just dive on the pile. Jermaine Mayberry, and then John Runyon comes in, and he takes his shots also. These guys, they want to pound and hit you.
Browns are the 30th ranked rushing defense in the NFL. Autry building some confidence today. McNabb with a quick hit. And he does complete it to the fullback Cecil Martin, who was Ron Dane's blocking back at Wisconsin. Now we know we can catch the ball a little bit too.
Yeah, and when you talked about pass distribution, we saw the ball thrown to the wide receivers and the tight ends. Now the running backs are getting in the mix, and Donovan McNabb is taking what the defense gives them. Sometimes quarterbacks get greedy. They try and take what they want. We saw Doug Peterson throw the interception. That time Donovan McNabb stand underneath and taking what the defense gave him.
McNabb a career high 332 yards through the air today. Autry slammed in the backfield.
Okay, 3rd and 5. You're Cleveland. It's time to go for a stop. You can overpressure McNabb. By that I mean you can drive up the field so hard on the outside that he can slip and then run. They need to keep those rush lanes. Romeo Cornell, the defensive coordinator, has done a nice job. They've gotten to McNabb, I think, 3 times in this ball game. Get the rush lanes going, and you also need tight coverage on the outside. So the cornerbacks should be up in tight bump and run coverage.
Got to get it to the 50. McNabb drills it and has the first down thanks to Torrance Small.
No, thanks to the time by the offensive lineman up front. You rush 4, you have 5 guys blocking, and they really gave him an opportunity to look the whole field. You don't get any pressure from these 3 guys. You get a little bit from Courtney Brown on the outside. He has some depth to his pressure, but up front, guys are doing a great job in keeping Donovan McNabb nice and clean. That jersey won't even have to be washed Monday if they don't get to him.
It is a huge offensive line. Even the NFL's only rhetoric and philosophy major, John Wilbert, was a 320-pound rhetoric and philosophy major. McNabb has this one batted down. To bring up second down, Orpheus Roy was there. And the Browns regard Orpheus Roy as maybe the most technically sound player on that front line. Does a great job using his hands.
Well, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, the next thing that you do, you get your hands up. Donovan McNabb takes a 1, 2, 3-step drop, so he's not back deep. They get their hands up just enough. McNabb is listed at 6'3". That's his basketball height. He's really about 6'1 3/4 on the football field.
Ryan Mitchell, normally the third down back, is in here on second down. The fake went to him. McNabb puts it over the middle. Yes, sir. Charles Johnson.
See, and that's what Charles Johnson likes. He likes to earn his money the hard way. You got a tough third down situation. Second down, guys are coming at your quarterback. Things look like they've broken down. He can fire it to you low. You're going to come up and make the catch.
11-yard pickup. It is a 349-yard passing afternoon for Donovan McNabb.
And we got 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
He really hasn't had to run the ball. To the air again. Deep. A sizzler for a touchdown. Charles Johnson again. 38 yards. It was a bullet. Lewis Sanders, the rookie from Maryland, watches on as Johnson celebrates his second touchdown catch of the quarter.
When you throw the go route, you want to complete this ball 42 to 45 yards down the field. They're on the 38-yard line. It's a straight go pattern. This ball is caught where? About 4 yards deep in the end zone. 4 plus 38, 42 yards down the football field.
Akers drills another extra point. Cleveland had led this game 14-7. But now check it out. Philadelphia is starting to pull away thanks to Donovan McNabb. Well, Cleveland's had the ball more than 25 minutes today, but Philadelphia leads it 35-14. The Browns are driving here. Second down. Got to get past the 20 for the first down, and Peterson has it batted down as Damon Moore came in. The strong safety got the hands up. Well, Damon Moore coming back home to Ohio. He's from nearby Fostoria. The Browns backers from Fostoria, Ohio, are in attendance today.
And Damon Moore comes off the corner up top. He's unblocked because the tight end takes a quick release, gets a fullback out. You can't throw the ball over a guy. Pump him up in the air, maybe try and get outside. And Damon Moore looks like he strained his back there. You see he's sensitive to the touch when the trainers came over to him.
3rd and 4. Johnson went in motion, looking for Johnson. He has it, but he's drilled. It was Al Harris who came over and really laid out the receiver.
Good job by the quarterback. Great pressure by Jim Johnson with the Eagles. And a nice catch on the opposite end by Kevin Johnson. We've seen him run the ball, hand the ball off. Now he catches the ball and he takes a nice hit. Good tackle by number 31, Al Harris, coming up making that stop.
Brings up
time to go for it.
Yeah, they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Got to nudge it across the 20 here.
These linebackers are deep.
Prentice sucks it across the 20. And it looks like Cleveland will continue. Again for the Browns today. They have certainly tried to mix it up, change it up. We've seen 2 wide receivers at quarterback. Calling for the measurement here. Well, what are you thinking if you're Tony Graziani? You come in and you're sitting behind 2 wide receivers today.
I talked to Tony Graziani, the former Oregon Duck. He said, you know, I got a playlist on my sleeve with about 10 plays on it. And he said, you know, I know what's going on this week. If I'm in, we're in big trouble.
It is a first down. The Browns keep it going. Yeah, the lefty is here again because it's just been almost a sitcom's worth of pratfalls that have befallen the quarterbacks here for Cleveland. It started with Tim Couch. Last play of practice several weeks ago. He's out for the year as he hurts his thumb. Ty Detmer was lost for the year even before the season started. It's gone on from there. Peterson dropped by Northcutt, something that has plagued him in his rookie season.
Yeah, and it hurts me when I see a guy get in a little bit of a slump. He's done a lot of good things with this ball club today. Tremendous upside on him as a player. When people watch what he's able to do next year, they'll say, okay, I guess that's why we draft him. He runs exceptionally well after the catch. And he was at Arizona. He was the target of every team's defense in the Pac-10, and he still set a career record for the most reception yardage in the Pac-10 history.
Second down, 10. Three receivers set, blitz coming. Peterson unloads. End zone, contact. No flag, no sale. Intended for Aaron Shea.
Yep, but I like the attitude there. You throw that ball to Aaron Shea. He's matched up against the strong safety, Damon Moore, and they're saying, okay, this is our big guy. Our receivers aren't real big, but we got Shea at 6'3". He runs well. I'm going to hang this ball up, but now the hands need to go up high. You see him try and get a little push off on Moore. That's a smart play because the officiating crew is watching that ball come down. They're going to allow a little bit of hand fighting. And Shea, the bigger guy, almost came up with that ball.
Third down, the first down make is the 9. Blitz coming. And the quick hit to Northgate. First down for Cleveland. He drags people with him inside the 5.
I called him the poor man's Peter Warrick, and that's only because he didn't get that big signing bonus like Peter Warrick. But he runs well after the catch, quick change of direction. And the thing that the Arizona coaches told me about him when he was in college is he comes out, he works hard every day. I mentioned earlier that he was a defensive back his first couple of games as a collegiate. He even had 2 interceptions, ran 1 back for a touchdown. We see that after the catch skills, all he has to do is firm up those hands. But they've also had a lot of guys line up under the center this year.
Browns trying to go 3 for 3 in the red zone. Prentice nowhere to run. Dragged down back around the 9. Carlos Emmons is there.
You know what? A little bit of that I put on Travis Prentice. There's no hole there. You don't continue to drift backward to the sideline. Now, this guy played at Miami of Ohio. He rushed for 73 touchdowns while he was in college. He was a dominant player at that level. Some of the little things that he could get away with there, he can't get away with here. What you have to realize when you're on that football field, how precious every yard is. Now, second and goal from right inside the 10, you actually have more room to throw the football, but you don't want your running back running backwards.
Johnson is out to the top of your screen. The tight end Shea down at the bottom of the screen. Peterson completes it to the 5. Incomplete. It'll bring up third down. Johnson says, I did catch that.
Well, but the receiver's foot was out of bounds, and he had actually gone out of bounds. Looked like he had gotten pushed out of bounds before the ball got to him. The official up there should have dropped his hat. You're going to get a good look at it on the sideline. He's getting pushed around out here to the right. See that foot on the boundary? This hat should come off, and that hat should be lying right there on the sideline.
And who else on the coverage but his good buddy from back home, the Trenton, New Jersey area, Troy Vincent.
Now, the tough thing when your receivers are 5'10" and 5'9", finding a big target. Your big target is your tight end.
Third and goal, and they do get it off in time. Johnson, and nothing happening there. They went backwards in the red zone this time. Al Harris.
Yeah, they didn't bite on this at all. And this is that wide receiver screen that so many colleges run well. That guy's up in press coverage. You need someone to come out and block him right away. See the offensive lineman coming out there. He gets there a step too late. And even if he had blocked him, there were plenty of defensive guys in there to clean it up. Nice play by Al Harris.
Couple nice plays in this fourth quarter. Phil Dawson is on to do what he hasn't done in 3 weeks. That's attempt a field goal. A 30-yard attempt here. Now the hold of the puncher, Gardocki. We've seen a lot more of Gardocki than Dawson, to put it mildly, the last few weeks. But the field goal is good, and Cleveland is now back to within 35-17. On Fox, yes, those of you in Cleveland will see Minnesota and St. Louis too.
They got Minnesota and the Redskins for a multiple pick.
Watch Robert in the backfield. Salted milkshake, eh?
I figure that's all you're willing to pay up on.
If that. 35-17 Philadelphia. And actually, the Browns, we've talked about this, they've had the ball quite a bit. They've had it for 29 minutes, and the Eagles only 20.
See, I see a pattern here. 2 touchdowns, 1 punt. 2 touchdowns, 1 punt. 1 touchdown. Maybe another TD's coming up.
McNabb has thrown for 4 already today. He fumbles the ball this time. It's loose. It's picked up. It's going to be run in. Keith McKenzie. Barely.
They're marking this thing down. You know, there should be a different rule for defensive linemen. They get inside the 1, they should get a touchdown. Keith McKenzie trying to get up there in the stands. Not enough vertical for the former Packer.
Well,
I didn't say which direction the touchdown was going.
There is a discussion. One of the officials wanted it down at the 1.
Well, the tough thing is the official had not gotten to the end line to see that play. He called that play from behind.
And it is down at the 1. McKenzie. We talked to him yesterday for a while. He didn't predict that. But he is dragged down from behind, they say, at the 1-yard line. We'll show it to you again when we have a moment. First and goal, and here's a fumble. Peterson trying to scoop it up. And the Eagles are saying they've got it, but...
Well, you got Jeremiah Trotter coming over the top as if he's in gymnastics, and that psychs the quarterback out. He sees that guy coming at him.
The Browns.
See the previous play, you see the fumble, the beanie bag goes down, and off goes Keith McKenzie.
Look at Mitchell coming. Yep, knees, certainly. Before the goal line, they got it right. Mitchell goes and gets McKenzie. It's now second and goal from the 1. Peterson rolls out. Looked like he had the end zone. Instead, he throws it incomplete, and there's a flag.
Yeah, you definitely got holding. Troy Vincent, he's going up against the bigger guy. Remember yesterday he said, I'd rather give up the holding call than the touchdown. That time he did it.
Yep, he said all day, I'll take the flag every time. Rather 5 yards than 6 points, I believe, was the line that he used. And it won't even be that here. So again, McKenzie, who thought he had had a touchdown, learned once he got to the sidelines he actually did not. Now the Browns have to punch it in.
Have to get a fresh set of downs with that holding call in the end zone.
Pass interference.
Pass interference.
Number 23, defense in the end zone. By rule, the ball was placed on the 1-yard line.
And this is tough. You get Mark Campbell, 6'6", 253 pounds. Troy Vincent, big-sized cornerback right there. And that ball's thrown behind him. So Vincent has a legitimate gripe because that ball's not thrown on target.
Edwards and Prentice are the 2 men behind Peterson. Prentice, touchdown. This time for sure. Travis Prentice takes it in. His second touchdown of the day, both times from 1 yard out. I'll tell you what, that fumble, setting it all up. Donovan McNabb has done a lot of great things today. He's thrown for 4 scores, 387 yards through the air today, but the fumble turned it over. And the Browns cash in. This thing's not over yet. Dawson's extra point shaves the lead down to 35-24.
Back on the 1 yard line, you're either living right or your defense is playing very well. Keith McKenzie comes around the corner. He gets the sack on Donovan McNabb. When this ball is picked up, you got Johnny Greer here and Jeff Bergman, the lineman. They're not going to beat McKenzie to the end zone, but they get close enough where they do make the correct call.
Ryan Mitchell, great hustle. But eventually it was taken in by Travis Prentice. And now here's Mitchell doing what he usually does so well. He returns it out to the 33-yard line. And Donovan McNabb will reload again. His team leading 35-24. Now the Eagles not exactly hitting it up at a 50-50 split on running the ball and passing the ball today.
You know, but when you talk to Andy Reid, he says, we're going to do what works. They don't have Deuce Staley. They haven't had him for some time. They're going to go into this playoff run, and they're going to say, what do we do well? We throw the ball well, and then the West Coast offense, short passing and good defense will win you football games.
Rolling out McNabb. Will tuck it and take it to the 36, a gain of 2. Now, we talked about Donovan McNabb and the sentiment starting to steamroll now that if the Eagles finish 11-5, there should be an MVP award for the man who engineered such a season. It would be a 6-game turnaround from the year before, thanks to uniform number 5.
I got my list here. In the NFC West, I like Marshall Faulk. In the East, I like Donovan McNabb. In the Central Division, I like the Vikings. And now there are 3 Vikings. You got Culpepper, Moss, and Robert Smith. They'll cancel each other out, and their votes, the balloting will get mixed up because of those Vikings.
We got all the way to the 4th quarter, and the mixed-up balloting reference seeps in. Sent in an 8. McNabb with a pump fake again. Lets it go. And he overthrows Torrance Small. Corey Fuller was right back there with him. For Philadelphia, a win today. They know they're going to the playoffs. That's a given. But they're also rooting against the New York Giants at this point. The Giants taking care of business against the Steelers today.
You know, the tough thing for the Eagles, they'll get back in the locker room. They'll see that score. If they can pull this out, they'll be happy about today's win, but they'll also know that the window of opportunity to win the NFC East is closing on them.
Now the Giants have the tiebreak, beating the Eagles twice. It is 3rd and 8. McNabb being chased. And flutters it out of bounds. So Cleveland holds here. 7:58 to go. They'll get the ball back down 11.
And good pressure that time. You get guys in his face. Darius Holland, number 73, gets after him. You continue to chase Donovan McNabb. These guys have to be responsible for their lanes coming to the outside. They do that, but McNabb still slips away. And Darius Holland, number 73, just enough pressure, and you see good hustle at the tail end of the fray by Keith McKenzie.
Landeta not had a good day punting the ball, but this one is a nice tight arc down to Northcutt. Slips the tackle, then it's Northcutt is wrapped up as he gets past the 25-yard line. Ike Reese out of Michigan State was able to drag him down. Northcutt still down, and the Browns behind by 11. Cleveland 24 points on the scoreboard today. That's certainly a vast improvement over the last couple of weeks. Dennis Northcutt being tended to on the sidelines.
So is that a loss for a quarterback or a wide receiver or a punt returner?
You got the trifecta. You got all 3 today. Peterson. That ball dropped, thrown a little bit behind the intended receiver, David Patton. On the one hand, you can say the Eagles have let it slip a little bit today, going up against a 31st ranked.
Now, come on. Don't be that hard on them. They're winning this ball game. Tampa Bay and Detroit. Now, they got tough schedules going down the roads. Detroit, Green Bay today, the Jets next week, then the Bears.
Okay.
They could win 2 of the 3 of those games. Tampa played Miami today, St. Louis, and then at Green Bay. So Green Bay is going to have a hand in this one way or the other.
The Browns to work again, and this time reeled in. Nice job by Mark Campbell, sticky-fingered tight end. Well, you know, we talk about it, though. The Browns, I don't mean this to bury them, but they are the 31st ranked NFL offense.
But you know what? You do not have to show up and play poorly just because you've done so the previous 2 weeks. To their credit, Chris Palmer has done a fine job today. And we've seen a lot of different things up front. You see the injured reserve. The average in the NFL is 6. You see the Eagles only with 3 and Cleveland with 13. So they've had the guys injured. They've had 4 starters out on offense. So like I said, Chris Palmer today and these offensive guys have picked it up a couple of notches.
They do deserve an awfully big amount of credit today. The pass complete over the middle. They find David Patton for the first down. And the Browns still have a little bit of life to them here. Still very much in this ball game with 6:40 to go. There were those that were starting to question, hey, anybody quitting? The last couple of weeks, you get smoked by Baltimore, which of course is particularly embarrassing anytime that happens.
And I would think that Carmen Policy and Dwight Clark sitting upstairs are looking at this ball club, and they're a little relieved. Granted, they're not winning this game, but a much better performance than the previous 2 weeks.
You got to love how they came out with the anything-goes mentality today. Here's another pass completed to Patton, and he slams his way to the 38.
Now, the other thing that you and I are doing, we're right in the final chapter of this ball game.
No, it's not over.
It looked like he was down.
I thought he was, too. The Eagles say they've got the football. The Browns, I'm sure, are going to say it's a moot point.
Well, Patton doesn't have the ball. Patton's on this side of the pile. The ball's on this side of the pile, and they're trying to determine whether or not he was connected to the ball when he went down.
And they might have to sort out, was he down? The Browns sure thought he was. Vincent came away with it, and it looks like it's going to be Philadelphia's ball.
Now, so many times you hear the ground cause the fumble. Patton going downfield, has that ball a little loose, then he pulls it into his body. His knee went down, and then the ball came out. So
you're going to challenge this here?
I definitely challenge this. What do I have to lose? I'm down by 11. I need the ball to continue my drive.
Yep, they are going to challenge it. Philadelphia.
Now, see, he's on top of the ball, and he has possession while he's sitting on the ground. They take the ball away from him after he's on the ground. You cannot do that because he's down.
That's what they'll be looking at is David Patton.
Nice hit by Moore. He comes in there and gets that helmet right close to the ball. When leather meets plastic, normally separates from the ball.
So whatever happens here, just to finish the point on the Browns and how they came out today, you take one more look at it here. Moore on Patton.
There, the ball is out. Okay, I'll give you that much. I can see that even without my glasses on. He has possession right there. It's under his leg and on his arm. He has possession of the football.
Now, I do believe there was a whistle.
But not early enough for them to not make a call.
After reviewing the play stance is called on the
right
field.
Right there, he has the ball.
A fumble and a first down to Philadelphia. Cleveland is charged with a timeout. The runner lost possession of the ball prior to the knee hitting the ground.
Double whammy for Chris Palmer. They lose a timeout, too.
But if I'm arguing this case, he then had possession once he's sitting on the ground. Even though the ball's under one leg, he has his arm on the ball.
And that's when I thought the whistle came, too. At that point, it seemed like it was a frozen moment. But everybody kept scrapping after the ball. And just to finish the thought on the Browns, scrapping, I think it's pretty much defined it today. Certainly no signs of quit from anybody.
Now for the Eagles, you're up with a lead like this. The ability to run the football is how you close the game out. They haven't shown that ability today.
What they couldn't do against Tennessee, and it cost them dearly. Pump fake. And it's bobbled. It was incomplete. Looking for Cecil Martin. And that is something that has plagued the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, last week they had the terrific stand against a Super Bowl caliber team, but at the end, it was really, James, a snapshot of their season. The late game lightning from McNabb, but the inability to run the ball at a key time cost them.
See the rushing yardage for the Eagles, 31 yards in this ballgame. That's not good enough for a playoff team.
McNabb looking to run. Donovan McNabb sprinting forward for the first down. As the clock keeps on running, and we return to James Brown at the Fox Network Center in L.A.
Well, Detroit still battling back in this one, fellas. Take a look at James Stewart on 4th and 1, up and over. He scores. It is 7 minutes and 1 second remaining in regulation. Green Bay nursing a 2-point lead over Detroit. Back to Josh and James.
And Jimmy Kimmel nursing that upset streak, too. Obviously rooting for the Lions to do what they haven't done in 8 years. That's winning Green Bay. 1st and 10, thanks to the feet of Donovan McNabb last time, and not the arm. Autry for not much. In the meantime, Donovan McNabb has been holding steady at that 387-yard passing total. It's already a career best.
Well, they're going to have to throw the football. You saw what happened on first down there. They try and run the football. Their most effective runner, obviously, is Donovan McNabb. But as a quarterback, 387 yards, we can't argue with what he's been able to do with his arm. And to seal this deal, they need a couple more first downs, and they're probably going to try and get those through the air.
Do you go for a home run ball here on this series?
I think you keep the ball in play, this West Coast offense.
McNabb, West Coast indeed, a quick hit. Looking for Charles Johnson, who was supposed to be the featured receiver, kind of what Jerry Rice was all those years in the West Coast offense for the 49ers. But he says he's happy with his role here as just a contributor.
And I think that the growing pains that a young quarterback goes through, we've seen a big acceleration by Donovan McNabb in this season. talked about the fact that he had been sacked 38 times coming in this ballgame. So every once in a while, there's a little indecision in the pocket. But we've also seen him take his shots down the field and really spread the ball to his wide receivers because he's confident that his guys, Johnson and Small, can beat their corners one-on-one.
3rd and 7. Got to get it to the 41. McNabb looking for Pinkston. Zipping down the sideline, incomplete.
That throw is just too flat. You need the trajectory. Pinkston has great speed. Give him a chance. He's a long strider. He's not going to beat a guy flat off the ball. You get that ball up in the air, he has a chance to catch it. But Donovan McNabb also knows he throws it up too high, but that guy out in center field is going to make a play on the ball.
So now Sean Landeta to punt it away. And it is Kevin Johnson back there.
I'm going to try and come off this corner and make something happen.
Landeta gets it away. And some contact there as Johnson let it go into the end zone. And a touchback again. We'll bring it out. A punt of 48 yards. Don't forget, when we're done here, most of you will see the Vikings going up against the Rams. And, yeah, we expect a little bit of offense in this one.
You know what? See the score last year, 49-37. Kurt Warner was healthy last year. Dante Culpepper was using the clipboard. Now Dante Culpepper has become the man, and Kurt Warner is going to have to redeem himself after last week's performance.
49-37 puts you in mind of the Eagles' woes at 58-37 against Detroit in 95. Under Ray Rhodes. Ball is dropped. Peterson trying to get back on top of it. He does. As we get down to 3:22 to go.
Now, it surprised me that they didn't try and use a shotgun there. They've done it effectively with Northcutt back there. That time you put the quarterback under the center. It's hard to get that ball out quickly when they're blitzing. Now we see him back up.
First down make is the 30. Peterson completes it to the 20-yard line anyway. He found Bobby Brown.
Good job picking up half of it. Brown, that first reception of the ball game.
Brown stays in as Northcutt is out. Down to 2:49 to go. If the Eagles win this game, they are in the playoffs for sure. Tight end Aaron Shea is going to be wrapped up down at the 22.
That's tough. They sent Brian Dawkins, number 20, on a blitz. He didn't get there, but what he made the quarterback do is throw his hot throw. The defense knows what the hot throw is from almost every alignment. Short pass, make the tackle, no first down.
Cleveland uses a timeout. Remember, they lost a timeout on a failed challenge, so they're down to 1 to go, and they trail by 11. The Eagles 35-24 over a surprisingly effective Cleveland team today. The Browns on 4th down here. Obviously, this is
pretty appropriate because last week Andy Reid couldn't get it on 3rd and 9.
Right.
Now they need to shut him down on 4th and 9, 4th and 8. Peterson
looking for some magic, stepping out of bounds. Where?
Yeah, he got it.
Looks like a
good spot.
Yeah, a good spot. Prentice knew where he was going, and on 4th down, the Browns keep it going.
See, when I see a running back who's 5'11", 220 pounds, I always think that he should put his head down. Well, the reason I think that, because it's not my body on the line. Prentice, smart kid, gets enough for the first down and avoids the big blow by Trotter. Those guys are coming up together, and he gets a nice spot because his last step in bounds was at the 29. They mark him past the 30.
The new first down make is the 41-yard line. Ball is dropped, and Peterson has got to scramble back on top of it. The clock keeps on running. Or rather, will stop with the 2:25 to go.
I mean, that's the second bad snap from Sean O'Hara. This ball should come straight back to the quarterback on a straight line. Get that guy over his nose. You do a good job. And that ball is over here, right behind the right guard. He needs to get this ball back straight out.
On the 2nd down, Peterson over the middle, finding Prentice, who is smacked back at the 30-yard line.
See, Prentice is a little winded now. Smart coaching staff, run in Jameel White. Get a fresh body in there running back.
Well, the Browns trying to pull something out of here. The 2-minute warning at hand. It's Philadelphia, 35-24. Philadelphia beginning to look like a 10-5 football team that would get them in playoffs. Andy Reid, though, knows there's still 2 minutes left. And the Browns have the football. And a completion to Johnson, who was ridden down shy of midfield by Bobby Taylor.
You know, I think that Andy Reid will look at this ball game and say, okay, offensively, we've made some strides, thrown the ball really well. I know my run game isn't there. Defensively, they haven't played as well as what they would have liked, and that's almost a good thing because this defense has carried the offense the whole year.
Again over the middle. And again working with just one timeout. The ball coming loose but recovered as the clock ticks down to a minute and a half. Everett Lindsey had to dive on the football. We're down to 1:23 to go.
And you know what, for Doug Peterson, this is another extended audition. A guy who's been in the league for 8 years, kind of a journeyman with Miami and Green Bay, Philadelphia the last 2 years. And now to go up against his old team and to play. Wow, what a catch!
Kevin Johnson!
Get up! No one touched you down!
And look at this, the ball's picked up. David Patton saw what you saw, but the referee said, no, we're going to blow it dead here. And I tell you what, it was also a great catch out of the shotgun by Peterson. Another bad shotgun snap.
Yeah.
But what an acrobatic
Sean
play.
O'Hara has put him left, right, and a couple down the middle, but a great catch tail end of this ball.
A phenomenal play. Two ways. Back in a moment.
Here, you watch this catch. We know that Kevin Johnson is right-handed because we've seen him throw balls with his right hand. He catches that ball with his left hand, pulls it in, and Al Harris does tap him on the bottom there.
Which makes him down at the 16-yard line. The Browns are now out of timeouts. They trail by 11 points. 51 seconds to go. And from the shotgun again, Peterson towards the end zone. Picked off. Bobby Taylor will pretty much end it and pretty much get Philadelphia back into the playoffs. Got to run out 43 seconds with the former Eagle. Doug Peterson throws the pick. And the Eagles look like they're going to get to where they haven't been since 1996.
Defensively, a nice change-up by Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator. You bring four, you drop guys back into coverage. Good defensive backs can cover man-to-man, but they also cover well underneath. Bobby Taylor, use him normally on the outside in regular situations. They move him over the slot in nickel. That time he does a good job underneath in zone coverage in reading the quarterback's eyes.
3 interceptions reeled in by the Eagles today, and it's one of those lame things where you say everyone's a winner today. The Eagles will win the game, but the Browns will take a lot of solace in knowing that they won this crowd back over today and played a pretty good ball game.
And the court of public opinion weighs a lot into whether or not you retain a coach. And the last 2 weeks, getting outscored 92-7, well, the court was kind of swaying away from Chris Palmer. I think Chris Palmer won back some votes, so the recount, he got a couple more votes in.
But meantime, for the Eagles, well, Donovan McNabb had the big day. You know, he grew up in the shadow of Chicago, wanting to be like Mike. Did Donovan McNabb. Wondered what it would be like to hold sway over a whole city like Michael Jordan. Jordan wasn't roundly booed when he was taken in the draft. McNabb was. But as the clock runs out, he'll be returning to Philly now, ready for some Michael moments. Plenty of love for Donovan McNabb. A 390-yard passing day. He threw for 4 scores, and the Eagles are in the playoffs.
I don't know if he can throw the ball better. We know what he can do with his feet. We talked about Donovan McNabb being possibly an MVP candidate before this ball game. I think if he wanted some votes, he earned a couple today. Eagles at 10-5 look like a solid playoff team. They have a week off. They finished with the Cincinnati Bengals, and then they head into the playoffs.
Again, for the first time in 4 years, and the Eagles did have to scrap to get it done today, but as they've done so often, they were able to ride the strong arm, not so much the feet today, but the arm of Donovan McNabb. He beats you with either set of limbs. Today it was the arm. And the Eagles now improved to 10-5, dropping the Browns to 3-12. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. As they advance, they know they're in at least as a wild card. For James Lofton, Josh Lewin, we say so long from Cleveland, where the Eagles took care of business 35-24. Be sure to stay tuned to Fox Sports for the Game Break with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. We'll come back with that, scores, and more after this message. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, for most of you, the Vikings and the Rams coming up. The Eagles have won today.
The NFC playoff picture much more in focus than the AFC. The Giants have secured home field right on into Tampa if they get that far into Super Bowl 35 on CBS. The Minnesota Vikings, they'll be going against the Indianapolis Colts in a 4 o'clock game, a very important game affecting both conferences, as Andy Reid has taken a team that was 3-13 the year before he got here, 5-11 last year, and now they're 10-5 and rolling on into the playoffs. They've already secured a spot. Now they want to get home field in the wild card round next week. Dick LeBeau, his contract was extended this week by Cincinnati owner Mike Brown. His players are thrilled by it, and they want to prove today that LeBeau's the guy that can lead them to much better things. In fact, if the Bengals should win today, they will have closed the season winning 3 of their last 4 games, Steve.
And Dick LeBeau was very touched by the way his players have responded. They said publicly and privately that they wanted him to be the head coach, and they've played like it in the last few weeks. On the other side, the Eagles, they think they've got a shot at the playoffs. They want to clinch a home playoff game here for the Philadelphia fans that have meant so much to them this season.
Right now, David Akers is ready to kick the ball off. The Eagles will go on defense to start the game. A high spinning kick coming downfield. And on his way down is Tremaine Mack, one of the best kick returners, as he moves the ball, powering it across the 25-yard line. A return of 20 yards on the play. And with Scott Mitchell at quarterback, the Bengals will go on offense, first down and 10. Harris Mitchell, his numbers for the season, not that good, but they were good last week in the upset win over Jacksonville. He played very effectively in very bad weather at Cincinnati. And he knows this stadium. He was involved in the highest scoring playoff game in history here when he played with Detroit. As on the first play, they go to Corey Dillon, and the 1,400-yard rusher is taken down with virtually no gain. Hugh Douglas was the first guy to get him. The offensive line, John Jackson, Scott Rayburg, Rich Bram, Mike Goff, and Willie Anderson across the front. Dillon and Williams, the runners. Danny Farmer coming off a big game, and the great Peter Warwick at the wideouts in Battaglia starts at tight end. Second down, a long 7, a throw and a drop as they go downfield to a second tight end, Steve Bush. Carlos Emmons defending on the play. Now we look at the defensive alignment of the Eagles. Tough group. Whiting good. Corey Simon could be a great one. The rookie, Hollis Thomas and Hugh Douglas with 15 sacks. Gardner, Pro Bowler Trotter, and Emmons, the backers. Vincent, Dawkins, Moore, and Taylor, a very good secondary. The Eagles, one of the healthiest teams in the NFL. Warwick runs a slant, dives ahead, and he's going to be just short of the first down as they run, Steve, a little comebacker to Peter Warwick.
Well, that's one of the things they've been able to do in the second half of the season, especially since Dick LeBeau took over, is find ways to get Peter Warwick the football, and he's responded. Let's face it, he's been one of the bright spots. And you'll see here, this is just a quick hitch, get him the football on a long handoff, and that's what he does so well, and that's what everybody wanted him to do when they drafted him. Run with the football once he gets it in his hands.
Boy, did he run with it last week against Jacksonville, including an 82-yard punt return. Daniel Pope is now into punt for the Bengals as they come up a yard short. On 4th and 1, they'll punt the ball. High hit, downfield. Mitchell with the ball to the 20. He's to the 30 and out to the 33 or 4-yard line. Ryan Mitchell with a good return. There's also a penalty marker down on the Eagles side of the field. It was a 43-yard punt and a 12-yard return.
I think now, last week, we watched Philadelphia play a Cleveland team that did a lot of trick things offensively to try and stay in that ball game. But the fact of the matter was, as soon as Donovan McNabb stepped on the field,
31 of the receiving team during the run back. The 10-yard penalty, first down.
Al Harris.
As soon as McNabb stepped on the field last week in the Cleveland game, it was a mismatch. This guy's an MVP waiting to happen, waiting to be recognized. He's carried this offense on his back. It's one thing to lead a team, Don. It's another thing to carry an offense or defense on your back, and Donovan McNabb has done that.
Well, that's 73% of the offense of the Eagles. Yardage directly attributable to the passing and running of Donovan McNabb. McNabb, play fakes, takes a look. Long ball, he's got a guy on the run, and he overshoots the very fast Charles Johnson, who had to step on the defender. As we look now at the big offensive line of the Eagles, tremendous tackles. Thomas, Welburn, Miller, Mayberry, and Runyon. The tackles are absolute buildings. Chris Warren in from Dallas at running back, along with Cecil Martin, Small and Johnson, the wideouts. Chad Lewis, heading to the Pro Bowl with 60 catches, is a tight end.
You said it right. Their offensive line with Trey Thomas and John Runyon, the free agent from Tennessee at tackle, they have got some building blocks to build with, and that's one of the things about it. You have a young quarterback like Donovan McNabb. You want to protect him as much as you can, and they've done a great job of it here in Philadelphia.
Hey, I'll talk about Steve McNabb's work ethic, which is just phenomenal. There's a player down on the far. That's the official is down. Officiating crew today is referee Bernie Kukar, and we're unable to spot at this time which official went down in front of the, I don't know if he was hit, Steve, or what happened.
What happens is officials start running up and down the sidelines, and especially on a kicking play when they have to cover a lot of ground, players on the sidelines get in the way, guys get tangled up, and sometimes somebody goes down without contact or just gets tangled up.
Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, one of the sideline crew is down. One of the, it looks like one of the guys, Steve, who's working the chain.
Yeah, and actually, as the play took place, you'll watch here in the background, back in this area, watch, right on the sideline behind the players, you'll see he's already collapsed on the sideline. We don't know whether he was hit or anything, and it took a long time for anyone to actually notice it and get over there. But now you can see they've already got the stretcher out, and both teams have representatives on that sideline attending to him.
Yeah, medical personnel from both teams are attending to him.
Well, it's cold out here today. Now, you know, I don't know if it's dangerous cold that would have some effect that cause someone to collapse, but
I don't think so.
I don't know. I felt like I was going to collapse early up here in the booth. It's pretty cold, but
and you played for the Bills, and you're from Buffalo.
I live in Buffalo, and I come to Philadelphia, and I'm cold, man.
Well, the temperature 25 degrees, but very, very good playing conditions on a dry field at the Vet. No threat of precipitation. It was bitterly cold yesterday, much colder than it was today.
Yeah, one of the things, too, we saw the gentleman on the official on the ground over there. It took a long time, but we did see him stir a little bit, so he has moved and shown signs of consciousness. But as you can see, there's quite a crowd around him. And
so while we have a minute, let's head right to Fifth Avenue, New York, into Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, Don, the Jets come right out with a no-huddle attack on the opening series. The flea flicker, Martin back to Testaverde, to Dedrick Ward, and a quick 7 for the Jets in Baltimore. Let's go back to Don and Steve.
Thank you, Jim. Wow, the Jets all week long, the Ravens were denigrating the Jets, saying these guys aren't much of a football team, and leading the verbal assault was the coach, Brian Billick, Steve.
Yeah, there's no lack of confidence in Baltimore. There's no question about that. And we've just received word that the official on the sideline was Vince Simonetti, who has been down and they're attending to.
So while Vince is being attended to, there's a break in the action here at the Vet. Back at the Vet, we're also joined today by Beasley Reese, who's on the field. Beasley, what do you see down there?
Hey, guys, I just spoke to a lot of eyewitnesses who watched what happened. The side judge or the back judge, they're not sure which, ran into the chain operator. It was a collision while he was running downfield covering the kick. He ran into the guy. He flipped around, landed on his head, and right now I'm standing about 5 yards away. They are securing his neck with the apparatus that we commonly see for that type of injury, and being very careful. Back up to you.
Well, Don, it's exactly like we said earlier. When the officials have to cover a kick, they run so hard. They're running without looking where they're going. They're running looking at the players on the field by running down the sideline. And it's so easy over there to get caught up in the game and start watching, edging out closer and closer to the field, that when the official runs by, if you're not watching, he's not watching either, and the collision took place there for that reason.
And the gentleman being attended to is Vince Simonetti. Vince is a 20-year veteran of the chain crew here at the Vet in Philadelphia. As Coach Andy Reid of the Eagles now waiting to see his offense go to work.
You think, though, a game like this, Donnie, as a player, you see it becomes commonplace for a guy to stay down, where people attend to him, for people to, to know that players are going to get hurt in this game. But this is a guy that came out just as an official, and somewhere has got family and people watching. that don't know how he's doing right now. You see there, even the players, this is not a normal thing that happens. Usually players get hurt, but not officials. And you can see there by the crowd that's around this guy that everybody's really concerned because he was down, and he went down hard. And
we finally found out what happened from Beasley, who said one of the officials running down to cover the kick. And to rule on it, he actually ran into one of the chain gang, and there is the gentleman, Vince Simonetti.
It's a good thing we had Beasley down there because, I'll tell you the truth, the majority of people on that sideline had no idea that happened or how it happened because they were watching the play just like you and I were.
But what has to be pointed out, and no one does it better than the National Football League, as you pointed out, Steve, they take every precaution. They leave nothing to chance. And always, if you're going to err on the side of caution, so every possible attendant available medically is there to work on the condition of Vince Simonetti, who was run into by one of the officials early in this game on the first punt.
And that, you're right, Don. They take very, very special care in the National Football League, and there's been instances, you think back in Detroit when Reggie Brown had a neck injury, and virtually the training of the staff people on the sideline saved his life. So if it happened there on the edge of the field, there's no question that he's getting the best of care possible, and he's doing it with people who've done it before.
He looked like he might be dead blood on his face.
Yeah,
looks like he might be lacerated.
Yeah, it looked like it was a very nasty spill that he took, a bad collision.
It's moving his hands as he went off the field, so it's just a major collision where you least expect one between a chain gang member and one of the officials.
Well, it's bad enough when the players, but they've got shoulder pads and helmets. They can pretty much take anything you can dish out, but these guys are standing out there in the cold trying to stay warm with no protection except for a stocking cap or a baseball cap, and you just don't have a chance.
So after a 10-minute plus delay while the Vince Simonetti was attended to, the Eagles are ready to go on offense. 1st and 10 from their 24-yard line. The Eagles coming off a bye week. A very healthy team, as we mentioned. They've won 7 of their last 9 games to go to 10-5 on the season.
And the Eagles have yet to take an offensive snap because of the injury. And now, after standing around in the cold, we'll see if they can come out and will have stayed warm.
McNabb with 2nd down after that long ball that almost was a connection. Now he goes to the run, and not much there as running with the ball is Chris Warren. Newly acquired from the Dallas Cowboys, Chris Warren. We look now at the Cincinnati Bengals on defense. Bankston, Gibson, Copeland, and Langford across the defensive front. Foley, Ross, and the best player, Takeo Spikes, back the line. In the secondary, a rookie from LSU, Mark Roman, and Artrell Hawkins at the corners. Darrell Williams and Chris Carter are the safeties. 3rd down. Donovan McNabb, and the Eagles need 8. Good throw up the middle. He delivers to his tight end, Chad Lewis. Lewis, the Pro Bowler, making his 61st catch of the season for 9 yards and a Philadelphia 1st down.
Yeah, that play came up, and I mistakenly thought that the Eagles had not taken a snap, but that play was a long pass. This is the Eagles. This is Donovan McNabb's leadership. They came out, they stood around for 10 minutes waiting for the play to resume.